Let's jump right in. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to break down the actual psychology of coping. We're going to equip you with some really actionable stress management techniques directly from our source material on health psychology. Whether you're drowning in an inbox that literally won't stop pinging, dealing with some unexpected personal hurdles, or you just want to build up a rock-solid, resilient mindset, well, you're in the right place. We are going to unpack exactly how your brain handles pressure, and more importantly, how you can actually train it to do so a whole lot better.
So to kick things off, let me ask you a pretty crucial question. When the pressure is really on, what's your absolute default reaction? Do you tackle it head on? Do you avoid it like the plague? Or do you kind of just freeze up entirely? Seriously, take a quick second and honestly answer that in your head. Figuring out your natural instinct is literally step one to mastering it.
Let's look at a couple of real-world scenarios from our text. First up, we've got Sonia. She was basically pushed into an MBA program she absolutely did not want to do, and she felt incredibly irritable. But she used what's called adaptive coping. She actually communicated her frustrations with her parents, pivoted over to the performing arts, and totally excelled. Then, on the flip side, we have Sharon. He gets a promotion, instantly gets overloaded with work, but he relies on maladaptive coping. He basically just ignored his burnout until he was making huge mistakes and eventually needed clinical help. It's a perfect example of why consciously managing our reactions is such a big deal. Adaptive coping sets you up for long-term wins, while maladaptive coping might sweep the problem under the rug for a minute, but it's ultimately going to wreck your health and your career.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover the reality of coping, understanding coping styles, problem versus emotion focus, active relaxation techniques, and wrap up with meditation and yoga.
All right, moving into section 1, the reality of coping, defining the actual process.
So how does psychology officially define how we handle our daily grind? The main thing you need to know is that coping isn't just some vague buzzword for, simply getting by. Back in 1980, Lazarus and Folkman defined it as a deliberate, cognitive, and behavioral effort. It's the actual, active work you put in when you feel like you have 10 plates spinning and only 2 hands. You are actively trying to overcome, decrease, or just flat out endure demands, both internal and external, that are pushing way past your current resources.
Ultimately, when we cope effectively, we're trying to hit 4 really essential goals. We want to enhance our chances of recovery by shrinking the negative stuff. We want to adjust to whatever negative situation we're stuck in. We desperately need to maintain a positive self-image and keep our emotional balance. And finally, we want to ensure our relationships don't just fall apart in the crossfire. When we can hit these goals, we successfully bounce back to a state of positive functioning.
Now on to section 2, understanding coping styles and how we react.
Okay, now that we know what coping actually is, let's talk about the specific methods we instinctively reach for. Usually, you're going to find yourself leaning towards one of 2 main styles when stress comes knocking. First, there's proactive coping. This is where you directly confront the stressful event. You roll up your sleeves and take action to figure it out. Then there's avoidant coping. This is when you basically pull the covers over your head and just pray the storm passes. You try to deny or minimize the event, dodging the thoughts or feelings entirely. And look, while that avoidance might feel great for about 5 seconds, our source text makes it very clear this style is heavily linked to a spike in distress, depression, and a really severe drop in self-confidence.
Now, if you want to build up that highly effective proactive coping habit, there are 5 clear stages you can follow. Just imagine a massive report is due next week. First, you accumulate your resources early. You gather your data. You clear your schedule. Second, you anticipate the potential stressor, meaning you expect the pressure and the tight deadlines before they hit. Third, you do an initial appraisal to view the situation realistically. Fourth, you start your preliminary coping efforts, maybe outlining that report ahead of time. And finally, stage 5, seek and use feedback so you can adjust your approach on the fly. It's just a super logical, step-by-step way to dismantle a stressful event before it can dismantle you.
Section 3, problem versus emotion focus, targeting the source or the feeling. Let's look at another really interesting way to categorize coping. Take this worker named Sunny from our text. He was losing serious sleep over a hypercritical boss and just a massive workload. So he asks his friends for advice and gets 2 totally different approaches. His friend Kabir suggests a direct line of action: go speak to the boss or HR. That is classic problem-focused coping. But his other friend, Kedar, suggests he just needs to accept reality, adjust his own mindset, and do his best without letting it get under his skin. That's emotion-focused. It's 2 completely different lenses for viewing the exact same stressor.
So which one do you pick? Well, you have to choose your focus based on the actual nature of the stressor itself.
Problem-focused coping is all about identifying the source and taking control. This is a game changer when the stressor is actually controllable. Think studying for an exam or prepping for a job interview. You can take concrete steps to change the outcome. Emotion-focused coping, on the other hand, is about managing the intense emotions you're feeling using positive reappraisal. And this is absolutely crucial when the stressor just cannot be changed, like navigating the loss of a loved one or dealing with a major permanent life shift. Basically, you just have to make sure you're matching the right tool to the right problem.
Moving into Section 4, Active Relaxation Techniques, Calming the Body.
All right, it is time to physically open up our stress relief toolbox. And honestly, I want you to try this next technique with me right now wherever you're sitting watching this explainer. Just take a quick second, sit up straight, go ahead and close your eyes, and just gently breathe in and out, just like you normally do. Try to put aside any stressful thoughts zooming around your head and focus solely on the rhythm of your breath. Notice how your body physically feels right now. That awareness is the critical first step to active relaxation. Okay, you can open your eyes now, but try to hang on to that calm feeling.
Now, if you're holding on to deep, stubborn physical tension, Jacobson's progressive muscle relaxation is a phenomenal tool. And the reason it works is based on this brilliant biological reality. Relaxation and tension literally cannot happen at the same time. Why? Because they're controlled by two totally different autonomic nervous systems, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic systems, and they actually inhibit each other, meaning you biologically cannot be stressed and relaxed in the exact same muscle at the exact same moment. How cool is that?
So when you need immediate relief, say right before a really chaotic meeting or right in the middle of a frantic day, you can use this quick progressive method to rapidly reset your nervous system. You just close your eyes, consciously relax your arms and shoulders, gently rotate your head left and then right, take some deep breaths for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then mentally transition back into your day by counting backwards from 10 to 1 and slowly opening your eyes. Quick, easy, and super effective.
Finally, Section 5, Meditation and Yoga, Long-Term Resilience.
Let's wrap things up by exploring some long-term preventative habits. We're not talking about quick fixes anymore. These are practices designed to fundamentally rewire how we experience daily stress over the course of our entire lives. And look, meditation is definitely not a one-size-fits-all thing. If sitting quietly and observing your thoughts through mindfulness isn't your jam, there are plenty of other paths. There's transcendental meditation, where you chant a specific mantra. There's vipassana, which is all about deep self-observation of your bodily sensations. You might really love loving-kindness meditation, where you actively direct positive energy to yourself and others. Or maybe chakra meditation, focusing on balancing your body's 7 energy centers. The whole point is to just experiment and find the specific style that helps you tap into a state of inner awareness.
If you're brand new to this and feeling a little intimidated, no worries. This simple 4-step guide is the perfect jumping-off point. First, just sit straight with your feet flat on the floor. Second, close your eyes and breathe deeply. Third, gently repeat a positive word, a mantra, or just some positive self-dialogue. Start small, but try to aim for 15 to 20 minutes a day. Doing this will gradually build your emotional awareness and actually lengthen your attention span over time.
Similarly, yoga, which literally translates to unite, representing the union of consciousness and body, has multiple different dimensions. You don't actually have to do the complex physical poses if you don't want to. There's karma yoga, which is all about focusing on your daily actions and duties. There's bhakti yoga, which is driven entirely by devotion. Jnana yoga is focused on the pursuit of knowledge. And then there's Ashtanga yoga, which is that physical flow of power and postures you probably see most often in modern studios. Every single one of these paths is designed to lead you towards self-realization and deep physiological calm.
Right before we wrap up today, I really want you to step back and look at your macro-level strategy for dealing with life's pressures. Generally speaking, is your approach combative or preventive? Combative coping means you are always in the trenches. You're dealing with stress exactly as it hits, attacking it directly, and trying your hardest to just tolerate it and calm yourself down. Preventive coping, on the other hand, is about taking a step back. It means actively adjusting your lifestyle, restructuring the demands on your time, and building up your resources, like adopting the meditation or yoga practices we just talked about, so that the stressor is prevented from ever taking root in the first place.
So looking at everything we've unpacked in this explainer, from figuring out your default coping style to practicing active muscle relaxation to maybe starting a preventative meditation habit, what's your next move? Are you going to stay in the trenches fighting stress as it hits? Or are you going to start building out your preventative toolbox today? The resources are right there in your hands. Thanks so much for learning with us today, and we'll see you next time.